Hi, I'm Stephen Budden. I facilitate awakening experiences. And just to offer a case study of one example, a woman came to me with love challenges, and she was surprised when I knelt down to touch her feet. What I'd noticed as she was talking is her feet were all bound up and they kept kind of curling under each other. There was something drawing me to that piece of the anatomy, something like a loop that was caught. So what I did was I knelt down and I just started to unbind the feet. And we did this through a long process, unfolding psychologically, physically at the same time, asking questions, engaging the conscious and unconscious minds. And then this huge wellspring of tears flowed. And I found out that she'd lost her mother at a very young age. And she was not able to grieve because she had to stand and become strong, keep moving in life. It was just too shocking to process the loss of one of the core parents in her life. So she was taken in by another relative, and she had not grieved until this foot was unbound. I just want to impart to you how beautiful and profound this is. Where in your body do you carry traumas and things? Could be anywhere. The foot is foundational, the left side is feminine. This story makes a lot of sense. You sweep the ground out from under a child, their feet are missing. The feet kind of stop aging. They just want to stay there in that memory, in that place. You'll often notice feet that are sort of caught at a certain age, almost like toddler feet. She was a little older. She was 8 or 9. So this began to unravel the disempowering relationship she'd been in. She did nothing consciously. We just found where the energy was blocked in the system, released it, and then life could flow in a new way. A few weeks later, I came in and I noticed the same thing with the right foot. I questioned myself, that's strange. Am I just looking for something I expect to find in the symmetry? I went down and unbound the right foot. Hours of processing engagement. By the way, when I say hours, it's the equivalent of 10 or 20 years of therapy, and one would still never get this close to that awakening through just mere conversation. Though you can circumambulate and you can get some clues, you can get at the peripheries. In my experience, you can't get to the core of it necessarily. So this few hours was invaluable, unspeakably invaluable, because I found out in unbinding the right foot, remember left is feminine in general, right is masculine. What happened with the masculine ground? Well, the father passed away a few years later. Can you believe it? So the feet were swept out from this woman entirely. How can you live as a child having lost both your parents at that age? You must compartmentalize that somewhere. In this case, it was in the feet. You must change your relationship to the earth. Is the earth still safe? You bring the energy up in the body and you just freeze it there. Now, many more tears of grief, like an ocean of grief. Will this ocean ever end? Yes, in my experience, it always ends. The opening up, the pulling out the cork and letting that start to flow is often accompanied by the thought, will this ever end? There is always a bottom to that well. There is always an end to that ocean. Let yourself go into the grief so you can be done with it. Now, why is this invaluable? There's another many years of therapy. Because her relationship started to change. The person that she was with that displayed narcissistic tendencies, and I won't say there were narcissists because I think that's an oversimplification in every case of the word I've seen it used. He drifted away. Like, he was done haunting her because she now had this ground. She was now a powerful figure on the earth. She now had her own sovereignty. This is not the type of person that a vampire wants to haunt. He was gone. He was literally he was still the father of a daughter. However, he drifted further and further away. And moreover, a new vision of love entered her life. A paradigm of what she'd always wanted. Now, she could evolve beyond this. She could stay with this person. I'm just pointing out, without will, without conscious efforting, without any of that, removing obstructions changed her life. So this is the most beautiful, humbling, and powerful part of what I do with my clients. I help them determine where they are stuck and release that. And I don't have them will their way to determine that. I don't have them seek in journals for many years or meditation. I touch the body. Is it here? I move somewhere else. Is it here? This is the Philomela work. It's designed to reorchestrate something like the awakening or the near-death experience that I experienced at different occasions. I do work with people in the more at the more conversational level as well, with somatic awareness and trauma-informed methodology. However, it doesn't have the power to undo years and years and decades and a lifetime of trauma in a few short hours. That's the beauty. That's the power. That has been my prime gift to humanity thus far. So, what are you carrying? Where are you carrying it? You may know intuitively, you may not know at all. She was not aware of that at all. It was stored before that consciousness. She would not even think necessarily to look back to the grieving to change this relationship. She was more looking at the content of her life and the actions and the thoughts. What thoughts am I having? What am I doing? How am I speaking? How am I inviting this behavior? Or how do I get out of the situation, etc.? Like the things we would all consider. In my mind, we're always looking for the wrong solution to the equation because that's how we're trained to think. This is a deeper level of thinking at the body level. Like we make decisions with our body, as modern neuroscience has shown. This isn't like, this used to be considered woo-woo, and now it's actually scientific. So I'm happy that this approach has been vouched by science. And now we will unfold this more and more and discover the reasons why these associations get caught, so to speak, frozen at certain points in the body, and how releasing those, which is really awareness. You could have 1,000 massage therapists touching that area. You notice that awareness arising, and then they go beyond it, or they make some random conversation. What about the weather? What about the sports team? Because they're not necessarily trained to facilitate the emotional experience. People are afraid of like these intense emotions. Maybe there's a there's a psychotic in there that will come up and try to stab you. I don't know. There's not. For one thing, I inherently have a trust in the spirit and the body's ability to self-regulate and heal. And that's one case study of how this work has influenced someone's life. Let me know if you have questions. Thank you so much.